Good morning. My name is Sean Webb, and you're watching Classroom Conversations. I'm the Director of Community Engagement in the Educational Foundation for Desert Sands Unified School District. And we're the show that engages all of our community and staff, as well as our students, and we reach out to our community to talk about everything that's great that's going on with them. But before I move on, I want to make sure to thank our partners over at the City of Indio, and we'll have Brooke Berry on here shortly to talk about the Indio update, but I want to thank them for allowing this to happen. And if it weren't for the Desert Sands Educational Foundation Board for writing a community grant, we wouldn't be doing this. But I want to read our mission statement as well. The Desert Sands Educational Foundation secures funding and awards money to provide supplemental resources that enrich and enhance student learning in Desert Sands Unified School District. And their vision statement. In partnership with public and private sectors, Desert Sands Educational Foundation financially supports creative and innovative programs that enrich and enhance the educational experience in the academics, the arts, and extracurricular activities that engage all students and staff in Desert Sands Unified School District. So just me this morning, no Chef Mary. She's got a busy day at the arena, but I got a couple of updates for you that I want to make sure that everybody's well aware of what's going on. But we have a vaccination clinic coming up on Thursday, November 11th. Now, you may be thinking, well, that's Veterans Day. That seems a little bit odd. Well, because of it being Veterans Day, we're going to have an all-day clinic going on from 10 to 6. This is going to be at the District Education Center at DEC North at 47950 Dune Palms Road in La Quinta. This is both for pediatric and Pfizer adult vaccination. So this is the first time that we're able to offer that. The second dose for that vaccination will be December 4th. We also have another one scheduled at Indio High School coming up. And the second dose, that's going to be on November 17th. Same thing. That's going to be for anybody 5 through 11, as well as we're going to have the adult aged ones as well. And the follow-up on that is going to be December 15th. Then we also have another one that's going to be happening at Shadow Hills High School. That's on December 10th. And that's going to go from 4 to 6:30. And that follow-up shot is on January 7th. Each and every time that they're doing this, they are giving the Pfizer vaccination. I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. They're getting the Pfizer vaccination, and these are vaccination clinics that they're being offered. And if you want to find also that information on our website, just go to DSUSD.us, and we have this amazing banner up here that Jan and Mary update all the time, but you scroll through it, it has all of our important information about what's going on with the district, but you want to go through here, it says vaccine event, you click that, and it will take you to the website here with all of the information I just shared. So make sure you go ahead and if you're wanting the vaccination, you got to go. You can go there to the different various sites. We've got District Education Center, we've got Indio High School, as well as we have Shadow Hills High School that will be offering those. So that's coming up in the next couple of days as well as weeks. So that's coming forward. Let's bring up my slides here again. Let's see here. Always fun to be navigating here. Nothing on that slide there, but I do want to make sure that everybody's aware that we have an event coming up this week. And this is the Palm Desert Charter Middle School. This is their foundation gala. I'm actually attending this. My wife and I are going. We're excited. And I want to make sure that all of our schools and PTOs and organizations, boosters clubs, if you are having an event, let me know, and I'll make sure to push it out there to invite the public to it and make sure that the community is aware. I know that this is going to be a great event. Killer dueling pianos, and I see a guitar there too. I know they're going to have some amazing silent auction. They always have a great fund in need for something very specific for the school. So make sure if you are a parent or you're a community member at Palm Desert Charter Middle School, go ahead and check out their website and purchase a ticket as soon as possible. Speaking of events, I'll tell you, we had an amazing foundation event this last weekend, the Foundation Express. I just want to quickly pull up, we're very fortunate to have a photographer who is part of our board and donated his services for us. And he took some amazing pictures the other day. And I wanted to just kind of highlight those. And we are actually going to be bringing that to all of our guests. I'm going to be sending that out to all of you later actually later today. But I want to pull up this Facebook page here. But here's Gary's page, Gary Lopez with Gary's G. Aries Visions. And this is some of the pictures from the event. You can see we had a great silent auction going on there. You see Superintendent Bailey enjoying himself there with his wife. You see some more of the silent auction going on here, but just an amazing event. So this right here is at the Montoya Estate that I've been talking about, as well as this is Dr. Mark Stefanio and his wife Caroline, who hosted us at the first spot for the Foundation Express. And it's just an amazing event for everybody. Here's just some of the pictures as people walked in through the property. Dr. Sofonio greeted everybody. Just the various shots of people at the event. It was the very first time that we've been able to get together since February of 2020. So just outstanding to see everybody. And we raised funds for physical education classes as well as after school activities. And we've mentioned those after school activities a couple of times with like the ACEs programs. So we talked about ACEs and how they're related, and they participated in the Streets and Treats. These are the funds. Those funds are going to go to help out those classes. But enough for me. Why don't we go ahead and we'll bring on our own friend of the show here, Brooke Berry, who's going to talk to us about the Indio update. Here we go. Good morning, Brooke. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks. And hi to everyone who's watching either on mobile or online. It's always a pleasure to be part of Classroom Conversations. Thanks so much for having me. I feel like every week I just look at my office again. I feel like everyone should see an update on something that's going on here. But let it be a reflection of how busy things are in the city of Indio, right?
That's right. That's right.
So we had a big event over the weekend. It was so much fun. It was the Indio Barbecue Festival. And Sean, you said that you got to go?
Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to go to the barbecue fest. No, not this year.
You're a certified grilling.
I'm a KCBS judge. I've judged the competition before, but I didn't have a chance this year. Yeah.
Well, it was a lot of fun. Hay bales abounded. There was a cool petting zoo. The goats were full effect, and Indio High School FFA was out there showing off the information about what they do, and so that was a lot of fun too. And we're hopeful that they'll be able to do that at the Riverside County Fair. So waiting on word if that's going to happen. Hopefully. We'll
definitely.
Health-wise where we can.
Now, you guys have a pretty big event coming up in just about 4 weeks with the Tamale Festival as well.
Yes. So save the date for Saturday and Sunday, December 4th and 5th. We took 1 year off, obviously, because of COVID. But this is such an exciting and a loved one because it's also 2 days. So we had some requests after the barbecue festival. Hey, why don't we do this the second day? Well, here's your chance to have food and music and culture, artwork for 2 full days. The weather is going to be amazing. It usually is historically, right? That time of year. It's in downtown Indio. Sometimes people say, well, where downtown? Well, once you come out here, you understand it's really all of downtown, what sometimes is referred to as Old Town. So all the areas surrounding City Hall. And so right now, I believe that they might still be taking vendor applications. So high schools, PTOs, PTAs, if you're looking to get involved in some way and you want to have an educational booth, the website is very easy to navigate, indiotamalefestival.com. And if you're a vendor or if you're looking to be a performer or entertainer, you just fill out a really simple application online. But more so, we can't wait to just welcome everyone back.
Yeah, no, I found that with our event this last weekend, and people are just wanting to be back and wanting to be out and about. And I saw that even with your Streets and Treats event as well, people just wanted to be out. So I'm excited for this one too.
Yes, we're learning how to talk to each other again too, in person.
So true, so true.
So thanks to everyone. And with regard to the barbecue festival, it was great to see Indio High School there and all of our other community members. And we hope that everyone takes this chance to get involved. And as we have said before, if you have not signed up for Indio Live, it was our first chance to kind of be out there at the booth and remind everyone that every month we put out a digital newsletter. Some people actually prefer it to paper newsletters. Maybe someday we'll do both. But it's your way to know about events and opportunities and programs. We always have something about an Indio school or something about the district. Last month, we highlighted not only the new mural at Jackson Elementary School, but also the hours and the upcoming days off for Desert Sands Unified. And that is also something that our Teen Center mimics. So if you are a member of the Teen Center or if you're looking for activities, just remember that we follow the Desert Sands schedule. So our programming at the Indio Teen Center is free for regardless of city of residency. So if you attend the 8th through the 12th grade at any school within driving distance, really. Please
Right.
come by, check it out. You can see just some of the activities that we have planned in the coming weeks. So today, ceramic art, Greek potatoes,
Yeah,
and
what's Greek potatoes all about? I want to just show up for a little snack there.
well, we have some friends that own a Greek restaurant. So I'm going to say that's like olive oil and
Okay.
lemon and salty deliciousness.
Yeah,
And that
definitely.
that sounds good in the fall. We've talked about too, and we've tried to promote some of the programs that SoCal Gas does to help you stay warm without raising your gas bill in the wintertime. But I don't think we've had a single day where it hasn't hit at least 85. So so I don't know that people are turning on their heat that much yet. But still, Greek potatoes, cold or not, sound good.
Yeah, no, I love that all the different activities and different things that you have available for the students and for the community of Indio. And I'll say that more than half of our schools are all in Indio, so it's always a great partnership with you guys. And I love that you and I are, having conversations at least once or twice a day. So it's just great to have this partnership with you guys.
Yes, someone said to me the other day, like, "What? Yeah, how do you know Sean?" I said, "Oh my gosh, we talk at least a few times a week about this or
Yep.
that because there's so much overlap, and because so many of our residents attend schools within Desert Sands too, are such an important part of our community, whether they're going to a football game
Yep.
or attending one of our events. Saturday was very, very busy in India. We also had a sustainability event, so an opportunity for free recycling, composting, and all of those things. So we will keep everyone informed too, and we really appreciate all those folks are involved. And again, if you didn't get a chance to scan that QR code there and you want to know more about what's happening in the city, or if you just want a chance to get involved, go to our website and go to indio.org and just scroll down a little bit, click the link for Indio Live and sign up. You can also see some of our past issues. So if you didn't get November's, you can sign up and you can also read about it there. So Sean, thank you so
You
much
got it.
for being involved here. And I'll see everybody hopefully next week.
Yeah, you got it. Have a great one, Brooke. Always a pleasure. We'll see you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, always a pleasure to have Brooke Berry join us on from the City of Indio, the Director of Communications and Marketing. So if you guys didn't notice, we had a little bit of a different background. And the reason for that, and to kind of transition to our next guest, the reason that we had a different background is we typically, as you know, we're on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but Thursday we have the day off, and that being Veterans Day. And we're paying tribute to our veterans today. And I've got a special guest who's going to share a little bit about himself, a little bit about his family. But let me go ahead and bring him on. We have a La Quinta resident and a friend of mine. He's part of the 5 a.m. roll call. We have Doug Haslett. Good morning, Doug. How you doing?
Hey there, Sean. How are you? Good to be with you.
Oh, great to see you. Great to see you. I love that you're joining with us and this tribute for Veterans Day. And I think we got a little treat for everybody.
Yeah. Let's talk about veterans. Let's talk a little bit about my dad's story if you'd like, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, before we do that, give us the 30 seconds. Who is Doug Haslett in the city of La Quinta? And what do you do here?
Doug Haslett. I've been in the city of La Quinta for over 30 years. I'm married. I've got one beautiful daughter that's just graduated from college. She's 21. I've been working for a number of years for the U.S. Census Bureau, but I'm going to make a switch. I'm going to start working for the Small Business Administration, and I'll be working as what they call a disaster recovery specialist. Okay. So that'll be my new vocation, I guess you would say, is working with the SBA, and I'm looking forward to it. But I love La Quinta. I love this La Quinta Cove where we hike almost every morning. Yep. And it's a beautiful place to be, and a great place to have a home, raise a family, and can't beat it.
I agree with you 100%, Doug. That's why I love living here. My wife and I were coming in on our 8th year of living in the city of La Quinta.
Nice.
But as I read across your banner here, it says Doug Haslett, son of Howard Haslett, World War II vet. And you sent me a picture. I'll pull this up on screen. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about this picture, and then a little bit about your dad and so forth, being a World War II vet.
Well, Dad has a great story. He actually went into the United States Navy Reserve, always assuming that he would probably see some combat, but didn't really know how much combat he would see as a reservist. But he ended up flying over 60 missions in the South Pacific. He was awarded the Air Medal with Gold Star, and I believe he received 2 Distinguished Flying Crosses. But he saw his share of combat, but he survived it, and he was able to come home and start a family and become an architect and do great things in life. So, but this picture that you're showing right here, after they left Hawaii and went to they did some additional training in Hawaii. They flew to the Philippines, and they were stationed at, I think they pronounce it Tacloban or Tacloban Air Base on Leyte Island. And their airplanes were only there a couple of days. Their airplanes had very advanced and very brand new onboard radar in the aircraft. So radar at the time was in its infancy, but obviously the enemy found out that these airplanes were there. The airplanes lasted about 2 days, and they lost all of their aircraft their second day in service in the Philippines.
Okay.
And then they all had to be replaced.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about the next slide with some footage that I have? What's going to happen in that slide? I'm gonna cue it up so it can play in the background while we have our conversation. But
all right.
I'm kind of excited for you to share here with our followers at CoachellaValley.com. I think, guys, you're in for a treat here in Doug's story.
Yeah, this was really a fantastic story in that Dad and his crew, they flew from Leyte to Borneo. They strafed a target of opportunity along the way. They actually took some reconnaissance photos when they got to Borneo. They turned the plane around to head back and found out that one of their outboard fuel tanks was empty. And they don't know if they took some small arms fire that drained the tank, or they don't know if the ground crew forgot to fill the tank. But they knew they were in big trouble because they had a tremendous amount of open water to fly over before they could get back to their base. And there was a lot of, frankly, panic and disruption in the aircraft. Everybody was on edge thinking they were going to crash. And at the end of the day, they were almost back to the island of Leyte. They were over a bay that's on one side of Leyte called Ormoc Bay, and they were out of fuel and out of time, and they ultimately had to ditch the aircraft. And there was even some discussion at the time as to whether they were going to land in the water or land on the beach, and they chose the water. And then my dad would have been sitting right behind that yoke on the right-hand side. He was a co-pilot.
Okay.
And so his job was always pretty much in the aircraft was instrumentation, constantly judging what the aircraft was doing and assisting with actual flight maneuvers when asked by the captain. And in this particular case, the captain of the aircraft was having some very difficult times with his ability to fly the aircraft, and Dad actually was the one that ended up landing the airplane.
Okay.
But so that plane went down, 70 some odd years ago. But what happened was my dad and I, my brother and I rather, we always wanted to go find this aircraft. We'd heard the story when we were little kids, and so we wanted to find this aircraft. But my brother and I never made it to the Philippines, never learned how to scuba dive.
What? Why not, Doug? Jeez.
I don't know. Something about the expense of it, maybe. I don't know. But as the internet came into being, I knew the airplane type, and I knew it was in Ormoc Bay, and I started searching to see if anybody else had ever dived on this wreck.
Okay.
And so in 2009, I read a rather lengthy article about a sunken Navy ship called the USS Cooper.
Okay.
And in that article, they said when they found the Cooper, they also found an intact PV-1 bomber in 200 feet of water near the ship.
Wow.
And I thought that was so interesting. And in the article, they listed the ditching date as was the official record from the Navy. And just quickly, you're seeing the interior of the aircraft. You're seeing where the radio man and the navigator would have been seated. Just real quickly, that's a navigator's chair. That large, really round hole you saw on the top of the airplane, that had a glass dome over it. And that's where the navigator could get up and actually use a sextant and other measuring tools to do their navigation, because they didn't have the GPS that we have today.
So about how many people were in this plane when it went down in the ocean there?
So there were 6 altogether.
Okay.
And everybody got out. They ditched, and Dad said it was the eeriest feeling. And I've heard other people that have been in crises say this very same thing, that just before the crisis was going to come to a head, they said there was just a tremendous silence. There was a lot of things going on, and as Dad would tell the story, he said, we were talking, the propellers were still turning, there was noise in the aircraft, but he said it was also just extremely silent on the other hand. It was like a deadening effect. But when they hit the water, it tore the bomb bay doors off the airplane.
Oh, wow.
The airplane then sank immediately. Dad said that before he could get his shoulder harness and safety belt undone, the water was already up to his chin.
Wow.
And so the pilot and co-pilot went out a couple of open hatches that were above where they sat, which is right where that camera went in the very first time. And of course they had a turret gunner, as you can see there, those guns are still there. And so anyway, they ditched, they all got out. They were very fortunate that they did all get out. One guy was injured, but slightly. And you can see this airplane has what we call some cancer. There's some things missing just from being in the water this long.
Right.
But
right. Doug, let me just real quick I see our viewers are going up and down, and I just want to make sure that people are aware. You're watching Classroom Conversations. We're the show that engages the Desert Sands community, and we're on with Doug Hazzett right now. His daughter went through La Quinta High School and Desert Sands schools, and he is talking about his dad, who is a veteran in World War II. Go ahead and continue, Doug. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to make sure that people are aware of what's going on.
Yeah. So when I found this airplane via the internet, after reading that article, I called the people that wrote the article. Okay. They sent me to a history professor at Cornell University, but only because that professor actually knew the diver that found the aircraft.
Unreal.
So the diver lives in the Philippines. He said it's one of his favorite dives because the airplane is pretty much all there.
Wow.
But he then, I contacted him. We then set up a telephone call between he and my dad. My dad was in his 90s when we found the aircraft.
Okay.
And but he and the diver had the greatest conversation. It was, a sort of a sense of closure, if you will, for the diver that said he could actually talk to somebody that put the airplane there.
Yeah.
And so it's a fascinating story. All in all, this doorway here, there's a interesting little fun fact about that door, which is that they actually, one of the maneuvers they go through before they ditch, before they hit the water, is they take their life raft and they jam it in that door so that when they hit the water, the door doesn't get jammed in the frame, and it allows everybody to get out with the raft. So now the cameraman's looking up through the toward the top of the airplane where that top gunner would have sat. In fact, that the structure you see there is actually where the gunner would have rested his feet. And then he's looking back forward. That hole that you see in the top up there is where the navigator would have been.
Okay. So just amazing footage. Just like, and it's a lot of talent just to land a plane in general, but then to land a plane on water. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really to have listened to Dad tell the story, which he didn't tell it often, but obviously he did.
Right.
It was an amazing story, and amazing that they all lived, because usually airplanes landing on water, that doesn't end up being that great of a story for the people that were in the airplane. So he got lucky. So you'll see that's the top of the main cockpit. So that's those hatches, which were just plexiglass hatches over the top of the pilot and co-pilot. They're probably just laying there on the ocean floor somewhere, but the diver is coming back around the front of the airplane. But once we connected Dad to the diver he was so excited, he went right back out and shot this video just for Dad.
Okay. Is that the propeller still intact?
That's the propeller still intact.
Wow.
And so he'll come back around toward the front of the airplane, and you can see it, and it's just a ghost of an airplane sitting on the bottom of the Pacific Ocean.
And how many feet down is this, Doug?
It's 200 feet. So
Okay. Okay.
it's beyond your normal scuba.
Right.
So
Right.
this is what they call a deep dive. The diver has to have an expertise in multiple gas. It's a multiple gas dive, so it's not just a standard scuba dive.
Okay.
And but this is the guy that actually found the USS Cooper, and then obviously found the airplane. You can see this engine isn't as in good a shape. It's just sort of actually laying on the ocean floor, and the prop is all bent, which is usually what happens when they hit the water.
Right.
And then when they got out of the aircraft, they got most of them in their life raft, and there just happened to be what they call a PT boat. It was a smaller boat that the Navy used. Happened to see them. When they saw the plane land, they actually thought it was a seaplane.
Okay.
Realized when the plane sank that it wasn't a seaplane, and they went to pick up the crew really quickly. Leyte, Ormoc Bay, the Leyte Gulf, they were all still hotbeds of activity during the war.
Okay.
And so they waited till nightfall to take Dad and his crew back to their base, which was on sort of the northeastern side of the island, and had to travel through very treacherous or enemy waters just to get everybody back to where they needed to be. And they literally took them ashore, and they walked from the beach back to their air base.
Okay, so I pulled up a couple pictures on. You gotta love the internet, just like you found your dad's plane and so forth. I just pulled up a couple pictures here of the PV-1. I want to make sure that people are aware of what we're talking about, and make sure that also I have the right plane. Is this the plane here, Doug? That I'm on?
That's the plane, and that was actually came out toward the end of the war, 43 or 44. It was very fast for its day. That plane actually could keep up with some of the early Lear jets.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was very fast, and it had it was a warplane. It had the turret on the top there. It had some guns back toward the tail. The actual combat version had 5 50 caliber guns in the nose, and and they could drop bombs, torpedoes, or fire rockets, and it was a machine of war. So it
this guy right here
job.
It could have been your dad right here. Right?
Could have been, yeah. You never know. Could have been.
Could have been riding shotgun right there.
Yeah. So that was a great aircraft, and they have then a version of that aircraft. That airplane was actually somewhat difficult to fly because it had a shorter wingspan, and it had the smaller vertical stabilizers that you see on the tail. So they came out with a version they called the PV-2, and they lengthened the wing, and they gave it a little bigger vertical stabilizer on the rear, and they have that version at the Palm Springs Air Museum, and you can go see that.
Oh, really? Okay, so the plane. Okay, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So that we could right here locally, if we want to see what you were just talking about and what that footage was all about, we could see that.
Yeah, you could see that, and of course, when you do see it, the amazing thing is how big the bomb bay doors are, and you can, because they drop torpedoes, which are very long, and you could see then why, if they got ripped off, the plane filled with water and sank so quickly.
Yeah, those things aren't made to float, right? So.
No, they're not. They're not. Well,
Doug, I just want to say thank you for sharing your story with us and about your family history and so forth. Just amazing. I love the story of Howard Hassett and what they did there. I'm speechless.
Well, it's interesting. It's all of our veterans. This is a great time to honor them. They've many of them, whether they've been in combat or not, they do amazing work to protect our country in one way or another. And I think it's important for those that are watching, and especially for those that are in the Desert Sands School District. These are important functions that our military plays, and we can all learn from them. And I think that there's one thing that especially aviators will tell you, is that mistakes in the air can be very costly. And I think that's a great thing for young people to learn, is that mistakes, whatever they are, learn from them, because they can be costly, and learn from them and move on and do it better the next time.
Definitely. Well, Doug, thank you so much for sharing about your father and his history with World War II and being a vet, and helping us honor veterans by having this special today. I know that we don't have school on Thursday, so therefore we're not doing a show, but I know there's tons of activities going on in the Coachella Valley, all the way from Palm Springs down through Coachella Valley, Coachella, for different events for veterans and so forth. And I know that you personally, I don't know if you're participating this year, but I know in years past you've participated in some fashion at the La Quinta Veterans event. Maybe you could share a little bit about what you've done there in the past.
Well, in the past, and I'll be at this year's La Quinta Veterans Day celebration and memorial. But La Quinta puts on a great event, and for years now, I've gone and offered my singing voice to share "God Bless the USA," and this year we're going to add, and we did last year as well. I sang the Star Spangled Banner as well. I've been singing for years, and it's an honor for me to make that contribution for the city of La Quinta and to our veterans that come to that event. There's nothing quite like looking out from my vantage point upon people that are listening to that music and getting wrapped up in it. And I see more people, especially with God Bless the USA, just getting pulled into that music, and it's a great thing.
I agree. Doug, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for coming on. This has been one of our banner interviews. I'll tell you, I've seen as many people as like 20 people watching live, and it's down as low as 2. But know that this will be on the internet for you to watch later, as well as share with your family. I look forward to you sharing this with your family.
Great. Thanks, Sean. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, have a great one, Doug. Always a pleasure to see you, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.
See you on the trail.
Roll call. That's right.
See you on the trail.
All right, we'll see you. Have a great one. Thanks, Doug.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So as I shared, we were honoring Veterans Day and giving tribute to Veterans Day by inviting one of our very own here in the community, Doug Hazzett. As I shared, Doug's been one that I hike with every morning. I've gotten to know very well over the last 2 years, and I can credit to the pandemic in meeting Doug and getting closer to him. But I will say that Classroom Conversations, as I said, we're going to take a break Thursday since we don't have school, but you'll catch us back again next week, Tuesday and Thursday at 9 o'clock. But thank you very much for watching. And once again, Craig Campbell or CoachellaValley.com and your staff, always a pleasure to work with you guys. And thank you for allowing us to present this on your platform. You guys have a great day. And all right, have one. See you. Bye.